Hey guys, look. That's my dog. You see her? She's sleeping. You sleeping? Yeah. Hopefully you won't hear her snoring because she snores pretty loud. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jorvik, and as you can see, we are in a completely new space. I feel pretty good about it, honestly. I have a lot more room. I can put my lights everywhere, and I can actually decorate it the way that I want to instead of just the old spare bedroom that I had in my previous videos. I have been lacking in the content lately, and it's just because I moved states, and so that takes a lot of time, and obviously I had to pack all of my stuff up and get it shipped to the new state that I'm in. I think I mentioned before, I'm in Colorado now. So we should be getting back to our regularly scheduled programming here. I will be making a separate video talking about the future of this channel and kind of the content that I'm going to start pushing towards. I'll still be doing some reaction videos as well as the video essays. I think that is going to be the two main things that you will see on this channel. I'm still working on the AI video. It's just that every week something new comes out that is relevant to what I want to talk about, and as soon as I feel like I have the script done, something new comes out. So just bear with me, please. Hopefully I will have it out by the end of this month, and I'm expecting it to be a long video, so look forward to that. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. In today's video, we are going to be looking at some more filmmaking stuff. Again, this is something that I am passionate about. I've been in the film industry for 10 years. Right now, I'm just kind of taking a break from it. So today we are looking at the channel Standard Story Company. Obviously, the link to their channel will be in the description. In today's video, we are checking out is 5 ways you will ruin your short film. So if you haven't seen my other videos, there was another video talking about the top 10 short film like cliches. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it here. It'll also be in the description. And then I also just reacted to another video talking about every student short film ever, which is all pretty good. So if you guys want to check that video out, links will be in the description. So let's go ahead and dive into the video.
Here are the 5 biggest mistakes you can make when you first start making short films. The ones that I wish somebody would have told me about when I first started making films. Pitfall number 5 is...
I love how in all of these types of videos there's always like, I wish a filmmaker would have told me about these things when I first started. It seems to be how all these videos start. So I am curious to kind of see if I have done any of these and if this is new information to me. As always, I will try to provide insight on what he's talking about. So let's continue.
Is making the first thing you come up with. When I started out, every single idea, we immediately went out and made it. We were 11, so it was like, hey, want to make a movie where we're fighting with sticks? Fighting with lightsabers? How about lightsaber nunchucks?
It's pretty cool.
Starting out, every idea can seem really exciting, so it's tempting to jump on the first or second idea you come up with and get really fixated on it, since who knows when the next great idea is gonna pop up. However, usually the first idea you get is also the most obvious. As someone that's made over 50 short films, I would urge you to dig a little deeper, maybe think a little weirder, because you'll find that not only are short film ideas literally all around you, but some of them are much more interesting than that first one that you came up with. So keep your eyes out for short film ideas, make yourself an antenna for potential stories, and just give yourself that extra time to collect at least 5 solid short film ideas, and then go and pick your favorite one and go forth and make it. Probably the one you pick is not going to be that first one, and you'll have a better idea, which means you'll be starting on your filmmaking journey in a much stronger position than you would have been.
Okay, so a lot of information there. I agree with a lot of what he's saying. The whole thing about him starting off with just him and his buddy or his brother or something fighting with sticks and lightsabers. I mean, yeah, I've been there. I think I talked about it in one of my other videos that I recently found some of the footage that I started with in high school over 10 years ago. And to go back and look at it now, it is kind of crazy. So yeah, and he's right. The first idea you have is not going to be it's not going to be original, you know, like he said, there are so many ideas out there. I think the biggest piece of advice you can take away from this particular tip is, like he said, always look for ideas. I'm not going to show it, but I have a note on my phone that has a bunch of different ideas, when inspiration strikes, especially when I'm out camping, when I'm out traveling the country, or if I meet new people. Different experiences can give you different ideas on how to execute them into a short film. So yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I think always have a note, always have like the idea in the back of your mind for different short films, especially if you want to be a writer. I think it's very important to keep a journal and to keep a note on your phone if you don't have access to your journal when you're out. And like he said, kind of pick and choose, which idea you want to do, which idea is feasible, that you can do within like your budget or your skill level. Very important thing. So
4. Making your short film too long. Here's a look at my 20-minute long Vietnam War film I made in high school. Can you imagine sitting through and watching that whole thing? Now, whoever said that brevity is the soul of wit, you smart. Brevity is also the soul of not boring people and making better short films.
We talked about that.
So firstly, as a novice filmmaker, one of the biggest challenges you're gonna face is keeping your audience engaged for the entire runtime of your film. So the shorter the runtime, the easier to keep everyone glued to this film the whole time. Secondly, if your short film is 15 minutes long, you have to spread your budget and your creativity over that entire 15 minutes worth of scenes. So if you think about it, if it's only 5 minutes long, those 5 minutes will have gotten 3 times the budget, 3 times the attention paid to them, which means that 5 minutes of runtime is gonna be potentially 3 times stronger than what it would have been. And thirdly, it's easier to get more people to just watch your film when the runtime is low. How many times have you done this move on YouTube? And you want as many viewers and as much feedback as you can get when you're starting out. So don't scare people off with your 20-minute long short film before they even click on it. However, I will say the tricky thing about this is there is a deceptive difficulty in making a short film actually be short. So stick around for mistake number 1 at the end here, and I'm gonna discuss that a bit more and how you deal with that. Mistake number 3.
Okay, again, a lot of good information here. I agree with him. You don't want to make your films boring. My first couple films are that. They are kind of boring because, again, it's ideas that you have in the back of your mind that you just want to shoot. And the thing about making them too short is another thing. I mean, I've done film. I think my first published short film was like 1.5 minutes, maybe. And it's just a basic dialogue between 2 sisters. And then my next short film after that was 5 minutes. And then plus I have a lot of other short films that I have written that I haven't shot yet, or I'm just waiting to shoot. And those are between 5 and 10 minutes. And again, he's right. When you are first starting out, you're not going to have anything that's, Martin Scorsese or Spielberg or, George Lucas, Christopher Nolan. You're not going to have that. I mean, you're just not. I'm sorry. Like we mentioned in the other video, the top 10 cliches, showing stuff that's like mundane, day in the life, that kind of stuff like that. You could pad runtime with that. But at the same time, you could lose your audience that way. Every other week or so, I'll just, scour YouTube for just new short films to watch. And there's a lot of them that I just click off of because one, if you don't get me in the first 1 to 2 minutes, then I'm not gonna finish it probably. And it's the same thing with the book, right? If the first chapter doesn't really catch your attention, or maybe it doesn't get to maybe chapter 5 or something, you put the book down. I mean, it happens. So I am really curious to see what his number 1 is, so let's go ahead and continue.
3. Bad audio. I've covered this one before, but really quickly, I'll do it again because this is the one technical aspect of filmmaking that there's really just no wiggle room for.
Yeah.
Even more important than the visuals is the audio. And if your audio sounds like this, nobody's going to want to stick around until
the end of your film. That's the scratch audio from the camera.
If it sounds like this, I'm clicking out immediately.
That's probably what mine sounds like because I have a fan on.
We'll forgive out-of-focus shots, we'll forgive bad lighting, shaky camera work, all that stuff much more quickly than dialogue that's hard to make out or sounds like it's coming through a wind tunnel. I'm actually gonna be making a video soon about the importance of audio in films and the ways to get good audio and the ways to make it even better in post, so subscribe for more on that topic soon. Mistake number 2.
Not gonna spend too much time on this one. Yeah, we talked about that in the last video. Again, if you wanna go check it out, link will be in the description. Yeah, audio is another one that I will click off a short film if, or really any film if the audio is bad. I might have some background noise because like I mentioned earlier, I have a fan on because it is pretty hot in here. So I don't want to spend too much time on this, but audio is another big one that's very, very important.
Is losing sight of the number one objective of making a film, and that is, of course, I hope you said entertaining your audience. Entertaining your audience. So why do people watch short films? Do they do it to see cool slow-mo cinematography with philosophical narration over it?
At the shore of discontent must lie yearning.
No, they watch it because they want to be entertained. They want to get swept away in a story. What is a story? Well, a story is basically a character trying to do something, and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. What they're trying to do can be something incredibly simple, like you could have a short film about a guy trying to make a cup of coffee. Or it could be something really difficult and complex, like about a girl attempting to win back her already married high school sweetheart. So the problem is a lot of people will make their first short films about kind of non-stories, and those are really hard to get through unless they're done by a master like Terrence Malick or something. As a beginner, I want to say just try not to do a slice of life story, try not to do some meandering philosophical Terrence Malick style piece. Give a character something they want and make them try to get it. That's the bones of an entertaining story. It really is that simple. And speaking of simple, that's gonna bring us to the number 1.
Before we get to number 1, yeah, story is important. In my last video, the top 7 tips on how to build a superhero universe, very specific video, but if you wanna check that out, it's up here, link in the description. My number 7 tip was story. And again, story is very simple, but also complicated at the same time. I talked a little bit about the hero's journey when you are creating characters and that kind of stuff like that. But obviously, if you're doing a very simple short film, you know, you could film a lot that's not pertaining to a story at all. It is really, I wouldn't say difficult to kind of discuss in a very short format, but story is just one of those things. You know, you want to make sure that you have a beginning, a middle, and end. There's some stories where they start in the middle or they start at the end, and it just gets really confusing. Keep it simple. It's okay. Write it out. It'll be fine. So yeah, so just kind of keep that in mind with the story. Like, obviously, I fully believe in making things that you would want to watch and create and that kind of stuff like that. So entertaining, you know, can be difficult if you're not a skilled writer, but obviously that just comes with practice. So just keep practicing.
One mistake of first-time filmmakers, which is trying to do too much with your short film. So I'm a big believer that simplicity should always be your friend as a filmmaker, but as a novice, it should be your best friend. I mean, some of the greatest short films ever made are incredibly simple. For example, take a look at the short film Thunder Road, which won the Grand Jury Prize at Sundance in 2016.
I haven't seen that one.
Super simple short film.
I'll probably watch it after this.
One scene about one character giving a eulogy for his mom at her funeral.
I'm sorry. Anywho.
And it's simultaneously funny, it's sad, it's insightful about this character and his relationship with his mom, but really concise and a really creative way to tell an entire story about this person and his world with just one small, narrow scope of focus. Now, one way you see this mistake manifest of trying to do too much in the short film is someone making a short film that's really just a short feature film. They're trying to cover way too much story, too much character, too much information, too much plot in too short a period of time. And then the result you get is either a short film with a super bloated runtime, like a 30-minute long short film, or you just get a really rushed story that doesn't feel fleshed out and wasn't engaging enough because they tried to cram too much in. Remember, people are watching your short because they want a short, not a feature film. And with a short film, typically you're going to be covering one thing, whether that's, you know, one character, one relationship, one desire, one idea. You're usually only gonna have time in this format to focus on one of these things. So you got to pick your battles with your short film and just don't try to do it all. Keep it simple, again. Like right now I'm editing a friend's first feature film, and we're at that stage where we did a rough cut and saw where it was slow and figured we need to be ruthless and start cutting down this runtime. And our motto in the edit room has been less history, more mystery. And that idea can apply to your short films too. We don't watch films to be explained or told things. We want to experience, we want to feel something. So less is very often more. Less exposition, less information. Get us to the meat of your story. A lot of the best short films don't even have any dialogue, but they make you feel something.
It's true.
Take a look at the short film Kiwi. It's got 45 million views on YouTube. This is one of the most simple short films ever. It's got no dialogue. It's just one character, this bird, who's doing something weird. We don't understand why at first, and then at the end, we understand it all perfectly, and it's just this sad, beautiful, and funny all at the same time moment. I literally shed a tear the first time I saw it like 10 years ago, and this is only a 3-minute long short film. So again, don't make a short film based on just the first idea you came up with.
It probably has a lot of views because
make sure your audio is good. Don't make your film too long. Make sure you keep it entertaining, and above all, don't try to do too much. Just keep it simple.
Okay, so overall, pretty good video. Yeah, I agree. Trying not to do too much. Talking about the thing, the short films turning into features is something that I do a lot. I'm very guilty of that. But the way that I write my scripts, and I think actually it would be fun to cast some people and do like a table read type setting for some of my scripts. You can kind of see what I'm talking about. There are a lot of short films that get picked up and, you know, they get turned into features. Like that example that he gave earlier about the cop giving the eulogy about his mom. It said in the bottom, if you saw it, it got picked up and he turned it into a feature, you know, expanded it, which happens a lot. You'd be surprised. So yes, so I do kind of fall into number one, and that's only because a couple of my scripts are so dense already that it makes sense for them to be a feature or even like a series. And one of my scripts is kind of like a sci-fi horror film, and the way that I wrote it is basically like the first 15 pages is basically its own short film, but it's written in a way that it is the beginning of a film. So that is something you can do, and again, this is stuff that you kind of just pick up as you go, and it's one of those projects that I definitely want to do because I find it very fascinating, and the way that the story unfolds is just completely out of left field in a good way, at least. So yeah, so that'll be it for this video. I did enjoy this video. This is very good information from a very seasoned filmmaker. I mean, he said he did almost 50 short films. I think I've only done like 15, but I probably have 50 written, probably pretty close, at least 50 ideas for sure. But anyways, thank you all for watching. My name is Jorvik. I'll see you in the next one.